Mars is a frozen desert, a planet with a sky so thin it can barely hold heat, a world where liquid water instantly boils away. Radiation blasts the surface every second. Dust storms can swallow the entire planet. And yet, this dead world may have once had rivers, lakes, rainstorms, maybe even oceans, which raises a terrifying question. How does an entire planet lose everything? Because Mars may have once looked surprisingly similar to Earth. Billions of years ago, this barren red wasteland may have had flowing water, a thicker atmosphere, and conditions that could potentially support life. But today, almost all of it is gone. Its atmosphere collapsed, its water disappeared, its climate died. So what happened? What transformed an entire world from potentially habitable into a planetary graveyard? If you look at Mars today, it seems obvious that life could never survive there. Average temperatures hover around -60 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere is less than 1% as thick as Earth's. There's almost no oxygen, no stable liquid water, and the soil itself is toxic, filled with perchlorates. It feels like a planet that was born dead. But then, spacecraft arrived, and the surface started telling a completely different story. NASA orbiters discovered enormous dried-up river valleys stretching for thousands of kilometers, ancient lake basins, minerals that only form in long-term contact with water, sediment layers that look shockingly similar to river deltas on Earth. One crater alone, Jezero Crater, once held an actual lake. The rover, Perseverance, is exploring the fossil remains of an ancient river system right now. Mars today cannot support stable liquid water, yet its surface was shaped by water everywhere. Not little puddles, entire hydrological systems. So now the mystery gets worse. Where did all that water come from? Because Mars is small, only about half Earth's diameter. Its gravity is weak. Its atmosphere should have escaped into space billions of years ago. So how did this tiny planet once sustain rivers and lakes for potentially millions of years? Scientists started rewinding Mars backward in time, and what they found was disturbing. Billions of years ago, Mars may have looked less like the red planet and more like a cold version of Earth. Clouds, rain, flowing rivers, possibly even oceans covering huge portions of the northern hemisphere. But if Mars once had all of that, then something catastrophic happened. And the first suspect was hiding deep inside the planet itself. Earth has a secret weapon, one that almost nobody thinks about: a magnetic field. Deep beneath our feet, Earth's molten iron core rotates and churns like a gigantic engine. That motion generates a magnetic shield stretching far into space. Because the sun is not peaceful, it constantly fires streams of charged particles outward at enormous speeds. This is called the solar wind. Without protection, that wind slowly strips away atmospheres over time. Earth survives because its magnetic field deflects most of that assault. Mars lost its shield. Early in its history, its core cooled down, the internal dynamo weakened, then died. And when Mars lost its magnetic field, it lost the ability to defend itself. The sun began attacking the atmosphere directly. NASA's MAVEN spacecraft has watched this happen in real time. Even today, solar storms continue ripping particles away from Mars into space. Imagine a planet being slowly sandblasted for billions of years. That's Mars. Its atmosphere became thinner. As pressure dropped, liquid water became unstable. The rivers disappeared. The lakes evaporated. The climate collapsed. Mars wasn't destroyed in one violent moment. It suffocated, slowly, over billions of years. But then, scientists hit another problem. because even after accounting for atmospheric loss, there's still too much missing water. An ocean-sized amount of water simply vanished. So where did it go? That question led researchers underground, and what they found there changed the story again. At first, scientists assumed most of Mars' water escaped into space, but newer evidence suggests that's only part of the story. A massive amount of water may still be trapped inside the planet, locked underground, frozen as buried ice, sealed inside minerals beneath layers of rock and dust. Radar observations have revealed strange structures beneath the polar regions, and while scientists still debate exactly what they are, one thing is becoming clear: Mars is not as simple as we once thought. The deeper we investigate Mars, the more evidence we find that it was active, dynamic, and potentially habitable. And that's exactly why NASA sent Perseverance to Jezero Crater. Because this wasn't just a lake, it was a delta, a place where rivers slowed down and deposited sediments layer by layer. The perfect environment for preserving ancient chemical traces. Last year, NASA announced one of the most important Mars discoveries in years. Perseverance found rocks containing complex organic molecules and chemical signatures strongly connected to water-rich environments. Organic molecules are not proof of life. They can form without biology. On Earth, ancient lakebed sediments are excellent at preserving microbial evidence, and Mars just handed us ancient lakebed rocks. Suddenly, the mystery changes again, because the question is no longer, did Mars once have water? Now the question is, what happened inside that water? Right now, Perseverance is drilling into Martian rocks, sealing samples inside titanium tubes and leaving them on the surface for future retrieval. NASA's long-term plan is to send another mission to Mars. A dedicated lander will arrive on Mars carrying a small robotic retrieval system. Its job is to collect those sealed tubes from the surface and transfer them into a compact rocket built specifically for launch from another planet. That rocket will then lift off from Mars itself, becoming the first ever vehicle designed to launch samples from the surface of another world. Once in orbit around Mars, a separate Earth return spacecraft will rendezvous with the container, capture it, and secure the samples for the journey home. Think about how insane that is. Humanity is preparing to transport pieces of another planet across space because the answers locked inside those rocks may be too important to ignore. Those samples may contain the clearest evidence yet that life once emerged beyond Earth. For decades, Mars was just a scientific target. Now it's becoming something else, a destination. NASA wants humans there. China wants humans there. Private companies want humans there, especially SpaceX. The idea sounds heroic, a second home, a backup civilization, a new frontier. But there's a problem. Mars is unbelievably hostile. The radiation alone is brutal. Without a thick atmosphere or magnetic field, astronauts on the surface would absorb dangerous doses over long missions. Then there's the dust. Martian dust is electrostatic, abrasive, and potentially toxic. It clings to everything: machinery, spacesuits, human lungs. Temperatures can swing wildly. Food production would be incredibly difficult. And psychologically, a Mars colony would be the most isolated human settlement in history. At closest approach, Mars is tens of millions of kilometers away. At worst, communication delays can reach over 20 minutes one way. If something goes wrong, no rescue mission is coming. A Mars colony wouldn't feel like Star Trek. It would feel like surviving inside a submarine buried in Antarctica, on another planet. And then there's the most dangerous illusion of all. People imagine Mars as a humanity's escape plan. But what if Mars proves the opposite? What if Mars is evidence that planets are fragile? Because Mars may have once had conditions capable of supporting life, and yet today it is almost completely sterile. That transformation happened naturally. No nuclear war, no alien invasion, no giant artificial catastrophe. Just physics, planetary evolution, and time. The line between a living world and a dead one may be thinner than we want to believe.